There are women who enter a room without making a sound, yet everyone notices them. They don't demand attention or try to prove anything. Their confidence speaks before they ever say a word. That kind of presence isn't something they were simply born with. It's something they created through the choices they made every single day. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like no one truly sees you? Like you've spent so much of your life giving your energy to your family, your career, your partner, and everyone else's needs that you slowly stopped caring for yourself? Maybe one day you looked in the mirror and wondered what happened to the woman you used to be. The woman who dreamed without fear. The woman who believed she deserved happiness. The woman who laughed from her heart, loved without holding back, and walked through life with quiet confidence. Life has a way of covering that light. Heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, and all the moments when you gave your best, but still felt like it wasn't enough. The times you stayed silent instead of speaking your truth. The times you accepted less than you deserved because you were simply exhausted. Little by little, you made yourself smaller without even realizing it. But I want you to hear this with your whole heart. You haven't lost that woman. She never disappeared. She's still within you. She's been patiently waiting for you to remember who she is and finally choose yourself again. Because becoming a woman with an unshakable queen mindset isn't about transforming into someone else. It's about returning to the woman you were always meant to become. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need the ideal body, the perfect relationship, or the right age. What you need are consistent habits, small decisions repeated daily that slowly build a foundation so strong that no circumstance and no person can shake your sense of self. Today I'm sharing 5 powerful habits. These aren't unrealistic routines designed for women with unlimited free time. These are practical habits practiced by real women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. Women who have learned how to protect their peace, strengthen their confidence, and move through life with grace and self-respect. By the end of this video, you'll understand what separates the woman who constantly feels emotionally drained from the woman who carries herself with calm confidence and quiet strength. More importantly, you'll leave with simple actions you can begin using today, exactly where you are. So stay with me, because this conversation could change the way you see yourself. Let's begin with a habit that supports everything else. A woman with an unshakable queen mindset knows one powerful truth. Her peace is priceless. Now, that doesn't mean she ignores people or refuses responsibility. It doesn't mean she cuts everyone out of her life because they inconvenience her. That's not what protecting your peace means. It means understanding that your emotional well-being is one of the greatest treasures you possess. If you don't value it, no one else is responsible for protecting it. Think about how different life feels when your mind is calm. You think more clearly. You become more patient with your children. You communicate better with the people you love. You have the energy to pursue your dreams instead of simply surviving another day. But when your peace is constantly interrupted by stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion, every area of your life begins to suffer. Your health declines. Your relationships become strained. Your joy fades. Even your confidence starts to disappear. And here's something many women eventually realize. Some people become comfortable benefiting from your exhaustion. Not because they're necessarily cruel, but because your constant availability makes life easier for them. As long as you're overwhelmed, setting boundaries becomes difficult. As long as you're constantly fixing everyone else's problems, they never have to solve their own. A woman with a queen mindset decides she's no longer willing to live that way. Imagine a woman named Amara. She's 42 years old, works full-time, and is raising 2 teenagers. Her sister calls almost every day with another crisis. Every conversation follows the same pattern. Her sister vents for nearly an hour. Amara offers advice, the advice is ignored, and the cycle begins again the next day. For years, Amara believed this was simply what loving sisters did. She thought saying yes every time made her kind. Then one day she realized something. Every phone call was costing her peace. The emotional energy she desperately needed for her own children, her work, and herself was being spent carrying someone else's emotional weight. So she made a gentle change. She didn't end the relationship or create unnecessary drama. She simply stopped answering calls during family dinner. Sometimes she allowed the phone to ring and returned the call later when she felt emotionally centered. And when conversations became repetitive, she kindly said, "I love you, but I'm not in the right mindset to talk about this right now." Was it uncomfortable? Of course. Did her sister resist at first? Absolutely. But something beautiful happened. Amara felt lighter, she slept better, she had more patience with her children, and surprisingly, her sister slowly began respecting those boundaries. That's what happens when you value your peace. People often learn how to treat you by watching what you consistently allow. So here's something practical you can do. Start noticing what drains your energy. Don't judge it, simply become aware. Which people, situations, or environments leave you emotionally exhausted every time? Awareness is always the beginning of change. Then make one small adjustment. You don't have to transform your entire life overnight. Simply pay attention to how different situations affect your spirit. Finally, begin practicing kind boundaries. Remember, saying no doesn't make you unkind. You can be a loving daughter, a devoted mother, a supportive friend, and still protect your emotional well-being. Those things can exist together. And never forget this. Every time you choose peace instead of unnecessary chaos, you aren't being selfish. You're showing yourself respect. You're teaching others how to value you. And you're becoming an example for every woman who watches your life, including your daughters, sisters, and friends. A queen doesn't rule from a place of exhaustion. She protects her peace because she understands its value. Now let's move to the second habit. Women with an unshakable queen mindset recognize that words carry power. Every sentence they speak plants seeds in their relationships, in their confidence, and in the future they're creating. That's why they choose their words carefully. Not because they're afraid to speak, because they understand the difference between reacting and responding. When you react, your emotions take control. You say the first thing that enters your mind. You mirror someone else's negativity, and afterward, you often regret how you handled the moment. But when you respond, you pause first. You breathe. Then you speak with intention, honesty, and dignity. That simple pause changes everything. Life will always test you. You'll encounter criticism, disrespect, misunderstandings, and people determined to provoke you. But your greatest strength isn't found in losing your temper. It's found in keeping your composure. Anyone can shout. Anyone can argue. Anyone can match someone else's anger. Real strength belongs to the woman who remains steady during the storm. The woman who speaks honestly without becoming cruel. The woman who stands firm without sacrificing her grace. That's the woman who cannot easily be shaken. Think about Fatima. She's 51 and went through a painful divorce several years ago. During that season, her former husband constantly tried to provoke her, especially when their children were nearby. He criticized her, twisted conversations, and looked for emotional reactions. At first, she gave him exactly what he wanted. She defended herself, argued back, and matched his energy. Every encounter left her emotionally drained. Then someone shared a simple truth that changed her life. You can't control another person's behavior, but you can always decide who you become in response. Those words stayed with her. From that day on, Fatima stopped giving away her emotional power. Whenever he tried to provoke her, she paused before speaking. Sometimes she calmly replied, "I understand your perspective, I'll think about it." Other times, she simply walked away without engaging. Over time, something remarkable happened. His words no longer carried the same power. Her children noticed the difference. They saw a mother who remained calm under pressure, someone who refused to let chaos define her actions. And for the first time in years, Fatima realized her greatest strength had never been winning arguments. It was protecting her character, no matter what anyone else chose to do. Real strength is choosing who you will become, even when someone else is trying to pull you out of your character. So here are a few simple ways to begin living this every day. The first is learning the power of the pause. It sounds almost too simple, but it can completely change your life. Whenever someone says or does something that triggers you, don't rush to react. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. You're not ignoring your emotions or pretending they don't exist. You're simply creating enough space to choose your response instead of letting your emotions choose it for you. Before you speak, ask yourself one important question. Will my words create something better, or will they leave more damage behind? Think beyond the moment. Will what you're about to say build trust, respect, and understanding? Or will it create more distance, more hurt, and more regret? It's also helpful to have a few calm responses ready before difficult conversations happen. Simple phrases like, "I need a little time before I answer that," or "I'd rather continue this conversation when we're both feeling calmer," or even, "I understand your point and I need a moment to think." Those aren't signs of weakness, they're signs of emotional wisdom. And never underestimate the strength of silence. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is refuse to join the argument. A woman with an unshakable queen mindset knows that silence often speaks louder than unnecessary words. She understands exactly when to speak and when peace is the better answer. Now let's move into the third habit, because this one challenges a belief many women have carried for years. A woman with an unshakable queen mindset makes herself a priority without feeling guilty. Before you tell yourself you're too busy or that everyone else comes first, stop for a moment and really hear this. Taking care of yourself isn't an extra reward you earn after everything else is done. It's essential. And I'm talking about much more than occasional pampering. I'm talking about feeding your mind with knowledge that helps you grow. Caring for your body because it carries you through every season of life. Protecting your spirit because it's where your resilience comes from. Developing new skills because your ability to grow never has an expiration date. Why is this so important? Because you cannot continue giving from a place of emptiness. Every single day, someone needs something from you. Your family depends on you. Your career asks for your best. Your loved ones lean on your support. If you constantly pour into everyone else without restoring yourself, eventually you'll have nothing left. And when that happens, you don't simply become tired. You become frustrated. You begin feeling unseen. You wonder why no one gives back the same love and care you've spent years giving them. But here's the truth. No one is more responsible for your well-being than you are. The people you love can encourage you. They can support you. They can care deeply about you. But no one can replace the care you choose to give yourself. That's not something to fear. That's your power. Think about a woman named Priya. She's 38 years old. She has 3 children, works part-time, and helps care for her elderly parents. For years, she placed herself at the very bottom of every priority list. She couldn't remember the last time she enjoyed reading simply because she wanted to. Exercise had disappeared from her routine. She always bought new things for everyone else, while convincing herself she didn't need anything. She believed sacrificing herself made her a better mother and a better woman. Then one day, her youngest daughter asked an innocent question. "Mom, why don't you ever do anything that makes you happy?" Those words stayed with her. She realized that while trying to teach her children love, she had accidentally taught them something else. She had shown them that a woman's happiness comes last. That mothers should always disappear behind everyone else's needs. That caring for yourself is somehow selfish. She decided that lesson had to end. Instead of making huge changes, she began with small ones. She woke up 30 minutes earlier so she could enjoy a quiet cup of tea before the day became busy. She bought herself one beautiful outfit that made her smile every time she wore it. She started taking 20-minute evening walks simply because they made her feel alive. Little by little, everything began changing. Her children noticed she laughed more. She became more patient. She had more energy. Most importantly, she showed her children what healthy self-respect actually looks like. And Priya discovered a new version of herself. Not the woman she was before motherhood. A stronger woman, a wiser woman, a woman who finally understood her own value. Here's how you can begin. Schedule personal time the same way you'd schedule an important meeting. If you wait until life becomes less busy, that day will probably never come. Protect that time. Feed your mind with things that help you grow. Listen to inspiring podcasts while driving. Read a few pages before bed. Watch content that challenges you to become better. Your mind is like a garden. Be intentional about what you plant there. Move your body with appreciation instead of punishment. Exercise isn't about chasing someone else's beauty standard. It's about honoring the body that carries you through every chapter of your life. String it, strengthen it, care for it with gratitude. And don't feel guilty spending money on yourself from time to time. That doesn't mean being irresponsible. It simply means recognizing that you deserve kindness too. If you happily invest in the people you love, it's perfectly okay to occasionally invest in yourself. Here's the mindset I hope you never forget. When you become healthier, wiser, happier, and stronger, your family doesn't lose anything. They gain the very best version of you. A fulfilled woman gives from abundance. An exhausted woman gives from survival. A queen never neglects the kingdom she's responsible for, and that kingdom begins with her own mind, body, and soul. Now let's look at the fourth habit. This one takes emotional maturity. It requires wisdom, and it asks you to release something many of us spend years trying to hold on to. A woman with an unshakable queen mindset learns to stop fighting battles she was never meant to control. There are things that belong to you. Your choices, your habits, your words, your attitude, your response. These are within your power. But there are also things you'll never fully control. Other people's opinions, their decisions, the past, the outcome of every situation. Many women spend years exhausting themselves trying to change what simply isn't theirs to change. They chase approval. They force relationships that no longer fit. They try to rescue people who refuse to grow. They replay old mistakes, hoping somehow the past will become different. Every minute spent doing that steals energy from the life you're actually living. A queen understands the difference. She knows she can't force someone to love her with respect, but she can decide whether she'll stay. She can't erase yesterday, but she can become wiser because of it. She can't control another person's behavior, but she can decide how much access they have to her peace. That's where freedom begins. Imagine Grace. She's 45 and spent most of her life hoping for approval from a mother who was impossible to please. No matter how hard Grace worked, no matter what she achieved, it never felt like enough. She called more often. She bought thoughtful gifts. She apologized even when she'd done nothing wrong. She kept trying to earn love that was always just out of reach. Eventually, she realized something heartbreaking. She couldn't change her mother. She couldn't force the words she'd waited decades to hear. But she could stop allowing someone else's approval to determine her own worth. She stopped chasing validation. She started giving it to herself. She celebrated her own progress. She trusted her own voice. And with that choice came peace. Not because her mother changed, because Grace finally did. She still loved her. She still respected her. But she released the expectation that had been stealing her joy for years. That's what freedom feels like. Here's how you can practice it. Whenever stress begins to rise, ask yourself one question. Is this actually within my control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, practice letting it go. Stop believing everyone has to understand you. Some people never will. That doesn't reduce your value. A queen doesn't measure her worth by public approval. Repeat this whenever life feels heavy. I've done what I can. The rest isn't mine to carry. Let those words become part of your daily life. And stop living inside yesterday. Visit the past only long enough to learn the lesson. Then return to the present and keep moving. Releasing control isn't quitting. It's trusting yourself enough to handle whatever life brings. A queen doesn't squeeze life so tightly that she loses herself. She holds it with wisdom. She lets go of what isn't hers, and she protects what truly is. Now we come to the fifth and perhaps most life-changing habit. A woman with an unshakable queen mindset knows her standards, protects them, and never apologizes for having them. Standards aren't about perfection. They aren't unrealistic fantasies or impossible expectations. They're about knowing the level of honesty, respect, kindness, consistency, and effort you deserve from everyone who enters your life. Whether it's family, friends, a romantic partner, or even yourself. Your standards reflect the value you place on yourself. Every time you accept disrespect, you quietly tell yourself it's acceptable. Every time you settle for the bare minimum, you convince yourself that it's enough. Every time you lower your standards just to keep someone close, you abandon your own needs to protect theirs. And no relationship is worth losing yourself. A queen would rather stand confidently on her own than stay somewhere she's constantly shrinking. That doesn't make her cold. It doesn't mean she loves less. It simply means she respects herself too deeply to accept treatment that diminishes her spirit. Think about Zainab. At 50 years old, she found herself rebuilding her life after a 22-year marriage ended. The heartbreak was real. She questioned herself. She wondered what she could have done differently. Eventually, she chose to begin dating again, carefully and without rushing. As she met new people, she noticed something surprising. She had spent so many years accepting emotional distance and inconsistency that she'd forgotten what genuine care looked like. She remembered all the excuses she'd made in her marriage, all the moments she had become smaller just to keep the peace. This time, she made herself one promise. She would never settle simply because she feared being alone. Instead of making a list of appearances or superficial preferences, she created a list of values: honesty, respect, kindness, consistency. Whenever someone showed they couldn't meet those standards, she wished them well and quietly moved on. No arguments, no chasing, no convincing, just confidence. Some people told her she expected too much. Others said she should lower her standards because of her age. But Zainab knew something they didn't. Being alone with self-respect is always better than being with someone who slowly steals it. 3 years later, she met someone who genuinely matched her values. Someone who consistently showed love through actions instead of promises. But the greatest victory wasn't finding him. It was discovering that during those 3 years, she had built a life she genuinely loved. She no longer needed someone to complete her. She was already whole. She simply welcomed someone who added beauty to the life she'd already created. So here's how you can begin. Be completely clear about your non-negotiable values. Write them down, know them, protect them, and always pay more attention to what people consistently do than to what they repeatedly say. Words can impress. Assertions reveal the truth. Watch how someone treats you when life becomes inconvenient. Notice whether they listen when you express your needs. Characteristic always shows itself through consistent actions, not beautiful promises. The third step is learning how to walk away with grace. You don't need to argue, create drama, or convince everyone that you're right. Sometimes the strongest decision you can make is quietly leaving a situation that no longer respects your value. Walking away isn't weakness. It's choosing yourself without needing anyone else's permission. The fourth step is to stop apologizing for your standards. You never have to explain why you expect honesty, kindness, respect, or consistency. Those aren't impossible expectations. They're the foundation of every healthy relationship. You deserve to receive them just as much as you give them. Here's something important to remember. The moment you begin honoring your standards, some people may walk away. That's part of the journey. But what you'll gain is far greater than what you lose. You'll gain peace. You'll gain confidence. You'll gain self-respect. And you'll create space for people who genuinely value you and are capable of meeting you with the same love and respect you offer them. A queen never lowers her crown just to make others feel comfortable. She simply surrounds herself with people who naturally rise to her level.